Hello everybody, welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. My name is Patrick, you are listening to episode 16. I'm joined by Saif and Steve, no Josh again this week. Say hi everyone.
Hey everyone.
Hi everyone.
Unfortunately, Josh is still not feeling quite right and is busy with some work stuff, so hopefully he'll be back next week. He, to be honest, probably listened to last episode and disagreed vehemently with how he thought the Kirby demo went. And I wouldn't be surprised, I would probably also take a week off from being upset at that. Anyway, good show.
I was ready to give him the floor to just talk all the praise he wanted and not interrupt him this week.
I thought he was going to say that the Kirby game sucked.
Is this grace period going to extend to next week, Seth?
No, he only had 1 week grace.
Yeah, limited time only. Yeah, fair enough. Had to touch grace. Had to, really be a part of it.
That was a good one.
Thank you. Fair enough.
If it makes you feel better, I was also thinking of the exact same phrase as you were about to say it.
Yeah. It's hard not to in times like these. But anyway, big show ahead. Any episode that has some Monster Hunter news will be a good episode, and we have some Monster Hunter news, so this will be a good episode. First though, Seth, you promised us a phone update. What's the latest?
Okay, so I rang them up on Monday to get an update on where my phone is or what's going on with it, and they told me that it's actually the warranty did go through, so they were going to repair it. They were just waiting for the parts to come through. About 30 minutes later, I got text from Samsung going, "Oh, hey, the parts are delayed. Do you just want a replacement phone altogether?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Let's go with that." Only problem is I'm going from a purple phone to a pink phone. My masculinity is being shot as when this new phone comes in.
Or is it being strengthened?
I feel like
no, definitely shot. Shot.
You have to think about it. But is it pink or is it rose gold?
No, it's pink. I had a look at the Samsung website and they're doing pink ones now.
Like someone walks into a dealership with 8K and walks out with like a Honda Jazz type hot pink, or like the pink ribbon for breast cancer pink. Oh, well, that's nice.
It's a very light pink. Yeah, that's not too bad.
You can just talk about how good a person you are now that you have a pink phone.
Yeah, exactly.
And if someone calls you out, you can be like, "Hey, what's wrong with boys having pink?" And you can get that really awkward conversation going.
No, you just go one step further. You'd be like, "I didn't realize that you were pro breast cancer."
Just put him on the spot like that. Jeez.
Yeah,
I can do that.
Someone from big breast cancer is like calling you out. Yeah. They're onto you.
You go straight for the jugular. No, that's cool. More important than that, though, what Krispy Kreme combo did you get on the way back?
I didn't actually leave home, so I didn't get any Krispy Kreme.
So you didn't even think to just leave home and just go to Krispy Kreme? Like you didn't have to spend the money on gas going to Mr. Samsung. Why didn't you just spend the money going to Krispy Kreme?
Because gas is expensive at the moment. Jesus Christ, it's like...
Yeah, so you not leaving the house is you literally saving hundreds of dollars, and you couldn't even fork out $10 for a 2 Krispy Kreme milkshake special.
I mean,
you could have gotten it delivered. There's no excuse in this day and age.
I don't think there's one close to me that delivers.
I'm sure they deliver.
I didn't even realize you could get deliveries. Man, Australia's so far ahead of New Zealand.
What? Do you guys just not get stuff? So if I said the concept of Uber Eats to you, would you understand?
Yeah, but I've never opened Uber Eats and been like, you know what, Krispy Kreme is the top of my recommended feed.
It should be after recording so many episodes where we praised them so much. Krispy Kreme, hit us up with that sponsorship.
Yeah, just anytime. And you know what? I will drive to you at these gas prices for the sponsorship. Just, let us know.
I'm going to look that up. Does Krispy Kreme deliver? That's a good point. I may have, unfortunately, called you out for the wrong thing, Seth. I'm very sorry.
I know that there are places that do local delivery if you're in a corporate building near to downtown where we've had deliveries done before, but not... I'm sitting at home and I don't want to spend money on gas. I'm going to make the poor Krispy Kreme guy do it instead. That's just rough.
Okay, so I can confirm for a $5 delivery fee, they will deliver to my house.
Well,
oh, nice.
We were going to have to wrap this recording up quick then because I've got a delivery to make. A delivery to order. Whatever. Anyway, if that is all...
There's a Krispy Kreme...
Yeah, go on.
He was about to dox himself.
I was about to dox myself. Well, actually, no, I was about to dox you, Seth, because it's near your area. There's a Krispy Kreme there now. I didn't know there was.
Yeah, no, there's one at a shopping center near me, but I don't know if they come to the couple of suburbs over I am.
It does say I'm too far away, but I am 47 kilometers away from it. So
that is quite the trip.
Surely.
Just like quietly message. We'll tip $10.
$10. It does say that it can be ready in 25 minutes if I want to pick it up.
And it'll only take you 30 to drive there. So I mean, match made in heaven.
Yeah, and how much in fucking tolls to get there as well? And gas prices. Okay,
I mean,
the Uber Eats app is being closed now because it makes me want to eat out, and I don't want to do that.
Fair enough.
I have dinner in the fridge.
Mum, can we get Krispy Kreme? We have Krispy Kreme at home.
It's like Donut King or something.
Steve's like dilapidated fridge. Anyway, so thank you for that, Seth. I guess this concludes the arc of you asking Mr. Samsung for a phone.
Yeah, the ending of the arc is going to be like 2 weeks away when the phone comes in, because it's going to take 7 to 14 business days.
Are you going to do a beach episode before the end of the arc?
No, to God, no. I don't want to lose my house keys.
No, it's a fan service episode.
But I'll have my car keys for some reason.
Fair enough.
Good, then you can go home. You know what the worst thing about that is, though? So after like 5 weeks of not having a swipe card, we're only having one swipe card that me and my partner shared custody of. We finally get that solved, and the day it gets solved, the elevator breaks down in my apartment block.
So now you have to use the stairs?
So now we have to use the stairs, and we have to use the fire escape, and there's only one key for the fucking fire escape. I'm fucking livid.
Do you have to set a fire every time you use the fire escape?
No, not yet. But it's just fire alarmed.
Oh, okay.
So if you leave it open for like 30 seconds, it just goes off. It's just so fucking inconvenient. God. And the Strata's like, nah, we're working on it. Yeah, I'm sure you are. So on the list of people that will be guillotined when I'm in charge. At the top, you got landlords.
Oh, you got my vote.
At the second, you've got real estate agents, and number 3, strata managers.
And number 4 are people that decide that 47 kilometers away from a Krispy Kreme is too far for delivery.
What do you mean? There'd be a Krispy Kreme in everybody's house if I'm in charge.
Now Krispy Kreme has your vote.
Big Krispy Kreme, get in touch.
A reality that we all look forward to and shudder at the thought of. Thank you for that, Steve. I guess we'll go into Round the Lounge after that extended food chat, as we somehow always do. Steve, what's your week been like? What have you been up to?
Yeah, so I played the Final Fantasy Strangers of Paradise demo, which is like looks like it's another week of a demo to see if I like or dislike a game. And I thought it was pretty good. I watched the new Batman movie with our good friend from Twilight, Robert Pattinson. I have very strong thoughts about that.
You have
I'm
thoughts.
I'm not going to say I wasted my time and my money, but
but you're thinking it?
I will strongly imply it.
Okay.
Save it for the podcast.
Save it for the podcast, indeed, yeah.
Tell it to someone who cares.
You guys. And I've also been playing the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas remastered thing that came out a while ago. After they did all those bug fixes to it.
Yeah, of course, because you wouldn't want to play the what was the name of it? The only collection. What was the one? They gave it that name that made it seem like it was the only one you needed.
The remastered trilogy, wasn't that it?
Was that all they called it? I thought it was the one. It was like the definitive collection.
Maybe it was the definitive collection. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
It is part of that collection. But through the magic of Xbox Game Pass, I've just got the San Andreas one.
I think it was through the magic of them bug fixing it so that it wasn't shit.
Yeah. There's still glaring problems, and we'll get into that a bit later.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Anything else this week?
No, that's it. So that's it from me.
Sweet. And Seth, what about you?
So I have been also playing the Stranger of Paradise demo. I also went and watched Batman, and surprise, surprise, I did more Elden Ring, and I am being filtered real hard in that.
All right. And Josh, what about you? Oh, shoot. No, that's right.
What about you, Pat? What have you been up to this
Still
week?
stuck in the underwater level. What have I done? I actually got to play a little bit of Gran Turismo, which was cool. And
I am
saw
very
Batman.
curious how you feel about that.
Yeah, I have some thoughts. And I've also been playing a bit more of It Takes Two, which I realize we've done a couple half chats on, but I don't know how long we'll spend on that. The Gran Turismo 7 stuff might be more of interest, and the Batman chat, but we shall get into that. What shall we start with? And then, of course, I know it's not part of Round the Lounge, but we will probably spend a while talking about the Monster Hunter Sunbreak information that we got in part 2. Shall we start with the San Andreas Remastered?
Yeah, sure. So as I said, I'm playing it through Game Pass. And I've got to say, I honestly prefer that, to be honest. Like, graphically,
What do you mean? What do you mean, like, you prefer that? You mean compared to the previous version, or you mean having
No,
only that version?
As in, like, I'm glad I didn't pay the money for all three of them. So from my understanding, you can either pay for all three of them, or you can get San Andreas through Game Pass. And I think it was GTA 3 that was available through PlayStation Plus a couple of weeks ago or two. But anyway.
Seth, can you confirm?
I don't actually know. I forgot the PlayStation Plus lineups when I add the games to my library.
Well,
gets kicked out and replaced with How Not to Die to an Elden Ring Boss.
Yeah, basically.
Fair enough. Right, so you got it on Game Pass, which means that you only paid the Game Pass subscription because it technically isn't free.
I'm glad that I'm playing the game, but I'm glad I didn't pay for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's honestly, that if we get into it, that's how I feel about Gran Turismo 7. That's
interesting.
Yeah, interesting. It's a fair viewpoint to hold. You enjoy it while you have it, but you wouldn't go out of your way to play it. That makes sense.
Exactly. And I'm enjoying it. It doesn't feel like it's aged or anything. Like, there are a couple of things in, like, aiming, like, guns and certain AI behaviors that are a bit behind the times. But don't forget, this game came out in like 2004, and games have come a long way. A long way.
And I think San Andreas is a cool one in that you can sort of see how a lot of modern games have taken elements from something like San Andreas all those years ago.
Yeah. It's really good like that. So to start off with, graphically, it sort of has done like a half job. Like, the environments and the buildings and the general textures do look fantastic. And I'd say it rivals, like, it looks much better than, for example, like Pokemon's Legends Arceus. So it's looking much better than a Switch game.
Oh, just had to twist that knife.
Yeah,
Is that such a high bar?
Well, maybe Legends Arceus looks more like a PS2 game than an actual fucking PS2 game. But that's probably more of a credit to the work that they did. And from my understanding, they used like an AI to sort of smooth those textures.
AI upscaling is a common thing, which has generally pretty good results.
I still find it hilarious that AI upscaling ruined one of the jokes in the game where they took a nut and smoothed it out into a full circle. So the tough nut joke doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah, and I've actually driven past that, and they have fixed it. So
they have. Nice.
Yeah, they have, and that was pretty good.
AI went too far this time.
Yeah, so I actually had to like look up where it was to actually find out where it was. But no, they went in and obviously hand fixed it. But in terms of like the character models, they look like weirdly smooth. Like, it's like they're all polygons, and like you can sort of see the edges and stuff, which is fine. Like, they wouldn't have had the technology back then to sort of make it. But the AI has sort of like gone over it and like smoothed it out. So they look less jaggy but more sharp, if that makes sense.
I'm picturing like Morrowind NPCs. Is that kind of like where you're sitting it at?
It's sitting on that, but like the textures are nice and smooth.
Right.
It looks too smoothed out is the thing.
Yeah, it looks unnatural.
Yeah.
Like, and like the joints between like the elbows and the knees and the shoulders look a bit like diamond shape, but then like the bits in between, like the forearm and the bicep and the chest are like just like sort of straight lines. I'm probably doing a very bad job of explaining this on an audio only format.
Draw a picture for us.
Yeah, okay. So then you got the head here.
Yeah.
And this is sort of what they look like.
Oh wow,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. But like the clothes look good, but attached to the models. It's just the models themselves. But at the same time, it's a game from like 2004, 2005. Like it looks amazing for what it is. Like, it's no remake. It's just a remaster. Like, just put a new coat of paint on it.
Yeah, I can kind of get the idea from your description, but that's also because I've seen a lot of like weird emulated stuff where they turn up all the settings extremely high, and it looks weird after it's done all the filters and all the post-processing. So it's like it's aliased too much, just textures have been smoothed out too much, and it just looks wrong.
Yeah, but like overall, it still holds up. The gameplay's pretty good. Driving the cars feels really good. The gunplay, for the most part, does seem pretty well. There's a couple of like lock-on problems that I probably just relics from the time. Like you lock on and you have to, if you like, it'll lock on straight to the chest, so you have to go point up if you want a headshot, but like you have to drag it up and it takes like a bit longer.
Right. Yeah.
Health regeneration you can only do at like by eating food, but eating food makes you fat. And then if you eat too much food and you get too fat, literally there's a message that says you are at risk of heart failure, lose weight. I'm like, oh, okay. But what about the game? But
I was wondering what that message was that was following me around.
yeah, but it's still really good. Like the storyline is very GTA and it's very overhyped and over exaggerated.
So is this your first time playing San Andreas?
No, it's not.
Okay, right.
Yeah, and that's probably why I'm tolerating a couple of things a bit more, because I'm having a bit of problems, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But it definitely does feel nostalgic in a way that I'm really good for. I'm really grateful for.
Because I middle of last year played through Simpsons Hit and Run again, just because I found
oh wow,
like
what
yeah,
I know, right?
Game. Yeah, no, but that's the thing, is that I played it a ton back when I had it on PlayStation 2. Wow, shout out to PlayStation 2. And then I found an executable that I could run on a computer with a moderate amount of success. Had to do a bit of finessing to trick the computer into thinking it was old enough to run it. But graphically, it does not hold up. Like, it's all blocky, cartoony. Like, it's very product of the times. But you enjoy it if you played it initially, because your brain is just tricked into thinking, oh yeah, this is like, when I played it the first time all those years ago. So it's fine. I imagine this is kind of a similar sort of spot for you.
It is, but I went into it thinking that I would be like, oh, I'd hate the gameplay, or like there'd be something that really annoyed me, but it didn't really. Like I reckon if someone came and hadn't played San Andreas and played it now, they'd probably recognize it's a bit old, but they would have like no problems.
Right, fair.
Like it still follows a lot of the same game principles that are like even on today, and even in other like the later GTA games, like in 4 and 5. Like 4 and 5 do refine it and do it a lot better. But San Andreas still does it pretty good.
Well, should we talk about, you were saying that people won't have problems. Should we talk about some of the problems that you've been having?
Yeah. So a lot of them are just like weird gameplay things. So like it will make like the sound, because you've got like a bunch of skills that upgrade, such as like stamina or gunplay or endurance and all that type of stuff. And every now and then it will make the sound that I've upgraded it, but it won't show me the progress or anything. So it's just sort of like a beep. And I'm like, I know from playing San Andreas before that beep means that I've upgraded something, but it doesn't come up on the screen. So I'm not really sure if it's supposed to do that, but I have a weird memory of it happening.
I love that you've got like Pavlov's dog conditioning. You hear the upgrade bell and you just start salivating. You're like, where is it? I know that it's coming. Where is it?
I had that reaction when I heard a shiny noise playing Arceus once.
Same sort of thing. And same sort of thing when Xbox games make the achievement sound. I get that dopamine rush, and I'm like, oh baby, I love it.
Here it comes.
Yeah, and there's been a couple of like AI tracking problems. Like there was one mission, some guy was following me in a car, and he like sort of hit another car, and then that was it. Like he kept trying to drive forward. The car he ran into kept trying to drive forward. And I had to sort of like bump them out of the way. And that happened in a couple of like walking missions as well. They just sort of get stuck.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that's just because that's what the game was at the time and they literally did nothing to fix it up. Because this is, for all intensive purposes, this is the same game. They have done nothing that I've seen in terms of gameplay changes or tweaks or any bug fixes at all, except splashing a borderline fresh coat of paint on the environments and called it a day.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I'm probably happy that I'm playing it, but not happy that I paid for it.
Fair enough. On the back of that, obviously, as you said, you didn't pay for it, but with what it is that you've played, nostalgia included and everything else, what would you give it out of 10?
Oh, I don't know. I'd struggle to rate it genuinely because, if you asked me this 10 years ago, I would have given it like a 9.5. But
whoa! The Elden Ring of 10 years ago?
Well, Elden Ring wasn't out, so it would have been the Grand Theft Auto. Is Elden Ring the Grand Theft Auto? But yeah. So it does what it sets out to do is really well. And if I'm benchmarking it by the games of its time, it's very close to perfect, like a 9. But because I'm comparing it to games that have come since and learned from it, it's probably closer to like a 6. like graphically, it's just a flash code of paint, so that's probably not fair to do it. But gameplay wise, a lot more games have done it better since, and that's probably because they've learned from it. And it's had a couple of problems with like the tracking, with AI tracking, and even AI's behavior in combat is sometimes they'll flank you, sometimes like they'll just come to you in a line, and it's like, all right, cool, headshots for days. This is what we're doing. But I'm still having a good time. I don't want anybody to think I'm not having a good time. I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
If you've played it before, I'd highly recommend playing it again, like just for that nostalgia thing again. If you haven't played it again, I'd probably wait for the collection to go on like a big sale and pick them all up for like $20 for all three of them.
Fair enough.
Because you get GTA 3 and GTA, I think it's Vice City. Or Liberty City Stories. Or it's
no, it's Vice. It's Vice.
It's Vice City, yeah. Because Liberty City Stories is the PSP one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if someone paid for it full price, I'd probably laugh at them. But yeah, that's it. That's Grand Theft Auto San Andreas Remastered.
Sweet. Thank you for that, Steve. Next up on the list, I think we get Seth to talk about Elden Ring, because it seems that the Batman and Stranger in Paradise chat is something that we're probably going to all jump in on. So, Seth, Elden Ring, what you been up to?
Just a quick update on Elden Ring. Man, last week I was like, man, I really hope I finish this game, and I tried. I really tried. I'm up to the final boss now, but I'm getting filtered hard because I'm actually considering taking a point or half a point off that game because of how bad that final boss fight is.
Ooh.
I won't get into details because it's still a fairly new game, but I'm having a lot of problems with the camera in that boss fight, and I feel like I could actually beat the boss fight if it wasn't for how awful the camera's being right now. But yeah, it's gotten to a point where I'm just like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to go off and do a couple of optional areas, level up some more, so I can just out-damage this boss rather than deal with the mechanics.
So, two-part question. One, did you see Donkey's video on him defeating the final boss? And two, why don't you just do what he did and tell it to stop, and then it stops and then he kills it?
I did not, but that sounds like a fairly good idea. Maybe I should go do that. Unfortunately, they just patched the game, so maybe they anti-donkey to the game.
the old reverse dunk. Actually, while we're on that topic, do you want to give a quick 30 seconds as to what the game update includes?
Yeah, so they did a big balance update to a lot of weapons. They made some better, some worse. The weapon that Josh was using got heavily nerfed.
The weapon that I've been specking to use. Haven't used it yet because I still need more int, but yeah, saw that got hit with the banhammer. Yeah,
no, they heavily nerfed the range of it and the damage of it. So maybe spec to something else that you think is going to be fun. They also fixed up a bunch of NPC quests that were broken in the launch of the game. So, like, you get about halfway through their quest lines and then there was no progress. There was no trigger to continue them. So they've updated that. So now you can actually finish them. Those include... God, I forget his name. Like, Kenneth?
I don't think we need to include... I mean, as we said last week, I know none of the NPCs other than E.G., my boy, my one true love.
Okay, so E.G. was not one of them because his questline did finish properly in the game.
Because it was perfect, because E.G. is perfect and my boy, yes.
Yeah, exactly. E.G. is a good boy. And they added one new NPC, which is apparently just a pot that wants head pats.
I've heard that they've also added a way of some loose, not quite quest log system, but some way to record what you've last said to NPCs around the map.
Right, that. I don't think they record what you've last said to NPCs, but they track the NPCs on the map now, so you can see where they are.
That might have been it, yeah, something about that. And then also they've apparently reduced... one of our mutual friends has been playing a very arcane sorcery type deal through Elden Ring, and he was saying that they've... buffed, I guess. They've reduced the focus point cost for a lot of the spells, particularly towards late game, which I'm sure is a welcome change.
Yeah, they have. They reduced some of the FP on some things. They increased FP for some other things and made their cast times longer. And they also fixed arcane specifically. Like a lot of weapons, they weren't scaling with arcane properly. Now they do.
Oh, cool. But back to you getting filtered by the final boss. So, where we left this, people can go back and listen to the last, 3 episodes of us talking about Elden Ring now. Where we left you last week, though, is that we had suggested that you would have to put in 36 hours in a week in order to hit the final boss with the same timing as a mutual friend of ours did. Was that the case? Did you have to put in like an almost standard work week of time outside of your standard work week to get to the final boss?
No, I didn't. I got to the final boss from where I was last week in about 10, 15 hours, I think. Yeah, probably closer to the 10-hour mark.
Shoot, you're doing well.
Yeah, because for the story stuff, I was leveled pretty decently, and I had specs for my weapon pretty well, so I was just melting certain things, and still had enough of a challenge with the boss fights where it was like, these take me maybe 5-6 attempts, which is fairly standard, I feel, for these bosses. And yeah, it's just the final boss that's stressing me at the moment.
Cool. When you eventually do defeat the final boss, do you think you're going to go back through on New Game Plus?
Probably not for a while. It's been a fairly big game, and there's other games I do want to play. I've put over 60 hours into this already. I'll probably be about the 80-hour mark when I do finish it. I feel like I'll be Elden Ringed out for a while.
Fair enough. Anything else you want to add?
Nah, not really. That can be the end of the Elden Ring update for me.
Cool. And the end of the Elden Ring update for you, it shall be. I think we talk about the Stranger of Paradise demo next, because that way we get the nice grouping of video games and then the movie. So Stranger of Paradise. Steve, why don't you give us a brief synopsis as to what Stranger of Paradise is? Because the name Stranger of Paradise wouldn't make you think that it's a Final Fantasy game, but it is in fact a Final Fantasy game, no?
Yes, well, I think the full title is Final Fantasy Origins Stranger of Paradise.
Other way around, Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins.
You were so close, Steve. Thank you for playing.
So close. But it's really good. It's essentially at the core of it is a remake or retelling. You might have to correct me on it, Seth.
Prequel.
So it's a prequel of so fucking close.
All right, you got one more chance, and then we just get Seth to describe it. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a prequel to Final Fantasy 1, and it is made by Team Ninja.
That one is correct.
Hey, there we go.
Hey, 1 out of 3, right? And they made like the Neo series. So it's a very fast paced action game, but it does have some RPG elements as well as some Souls-like elements, I guess, like with like the rolling and the iframes and all that type of stuff, and weird save points and stuff. But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's very much if you took a Souls game but leaned it more towards Ninja Gaiden than you did Dark Souls.
Have any of you guys played Nier? Sorry, not Nier, Neo.
I have played Neo, yes. So that's where Neo is as well. Like Neo is like a Souls type, but it leans more towards being an action game like a Ninja Gaiden is. Not exactly like that, not as hack and slashy and flashy, but it's more focused on like feeling good combat.
Yeah, and it's a lot more faster paced, and I thought it was like much in that vein. Like the combat is like very fast, very responsive.
The parry feels so good.
It's fucking perfect, and it feels, every time you do it, it feels very good, but at the same time, I get the feeling they've put like a couple of frames on either side of it, so you've got a bit more time. Yeah. So every time you do it, it's perfect, but you're not feeling cheated if you get it wrong. It's like, oh, obviously I've gotten it wrong. I was too early or I was too late.
And you can hold it. You can hold it for a little while as well. So it acts as a bit of a block, but if you time it well, then it's a parry, and the parry is what you want to aim for.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. I don't even know where we want to start. Like, should we start with the job system, or should we just talk about like the graphics, or should we talk about the overall story set? What do you?
Let's start with the graphics, because I think that's the lowest point.
If I may, I would be curious to know whether this is a demo of you get to do a couple of curated levels, or whether it's they just give you the game for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours and then just cut you off at the end.
They give you the first 3 levels, and the save will transfer to the full game when it releases. So
they haven't cut off any of the start at all.
No,
that's
they
really
haven't.
How the game
that is how the game is going to start. It's very weird, but very hilarious.
Yeah, it just feels like it just jumps you straight into it. It's like, okay, cutscene. Okay, you're fighting a boss. Okay, this is how everybody met. It's very, and that's like in the first like 5 minutes. Like you're pretty much straight in. It doesn't waste any time, and that's good.
The part that I thought was funny was where it says, so after the guys meet up, it cuts to black and goes, so these guys went to the king and asked him to let them go to the Chaos Shrine. He said, no, prove yourselves first, go fight these monsters. They fought the monster, it's been a couple of weeks, and they're on their way back to ask the king again. You don't see anything about that monster. You don't get a level with that monster. It's just, yeah, they killed it off screen. Let's have a cutscene of them talking on the ship on the way back home.
Are you telling me that they gave the Pokemon treatment of a whole bunch of things happen while the screen was black, and then they just hand wave what happened?
Yeah, it's basically that.
Fantastic.
Well, and it seems like the opposite to what a usual JRPG Final Fantasy game would have. Like you think it'd be like a 45-hour long cutscene at the start. For like a 3-second fight where you get the automatic, you press one button, it's the I win button, that's it. And then another 60-minute cutscene, but it's none of that. It's like 5 minutes, okay, this happened off screen, 5 minutes, you're heading back. Like it is, I'm not sure if it's just trying to fight back against cutscenes or something. Because later on there are like a lot more cutscenes that explain a lot more things in more detail for no reason. But yeah, this is the start of it. It felt...
The start is very weird.
Yeah, just very jarring. I'm not sure. Yeah, but at first I thought that's what they were cutting out.
It's on purpose. I'll say that much because I'll also say this now. The game came out for people that pre-ordered it digitally, so people have the full game like 3 days early. So people are going through the story. My girlfriend's basically almost finished the game now. But yeah, there is a thing that'll make you go, oh, so that's why the beginning was so rushy or the way it was. Okay. Like, there is kind of a payoff for it.
Because the first boss is DLC. I get it. I see you.
What? Oh, they better... Oh, man, if they do that.
Oh. Do you want to know what happens in the first fight? $20 paywall, bitch.
They actually have announced DLC for the game, and it seems interesting because one of them you can tell is just going to be a Gilgamesh fight. And Gilgamesh is a very big fan favorite for the Final Fantasy fan base. Yeah,
that is true. And yeah, he's a reoccurring character as well. But yeah, so essentially to answer your question, Pat, it's essentially, like 3 hours with the first game. Is it 3 hours? I got to about 2.5 hours, and I'm like, I've seen enough, but I could tell there was more to do.
Yeah, I'd say about 3 to 5 hours, depending if you want to do the side missions.
Okay.
Yeah, but
yeah, like it's a good chunk. It's a bigger chunk than Kirby. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and you get it because it's just the first 3 levels of the game. It's you get some decent fights in there. They're pretty decently length levels, and yeah, like you just, if you want to, you can just keep grinding out the demo to level up the jobs in there, because they give you most of the jobs in the game. You get the basic jobs and the advanced jobs. They just lock off the expert jobs that are in for the demo, so you can't go all the way up to like Dark Knight or Paladin, but you can go up to like a warrior or a monk or something on those natures. Like there's a lot of jobs, so I'd spend a while breaking down which is in which tree, but basically the demo lets you go up to tier 2 and locks you off before you get to tier 3.
Right, and so just on that, because Steve, you were a big fan of the job system. I think you mentioned just a bit before. What like anything to add to what Seth was saying?
Well, so essentially, to take it back and explain it a bit further, the job system is pretty much like, it's essentially a different class that you can let. What's the main guy's name again?
Jack.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So essentially, you're only controlling Jack, and the other 2 or 3 party members. Well, 2 party members. Sorry.
That would be Mr. Stranger to you.
I don't think he's given a last name.
He is. The trailers straight up say his name is Jack Garland.
So that links in with what she says.
Because that's he's the guy.
He's the first boss of Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah, but anyway, so the job system, right, is essentially different classes you can sort of equip to Jack, and that will change everything, like from his moveset to his skills he can use to even his sort of fight style.
And his stats as well.
Yeah, his stats as well, and it works with the different not outfits, the different equipment you attach to them as well. Like some equipment is like locked to certain jobs, and
there's actually a funny thing with that, by the way. You can still equip armor that is has affinity for other jobs, and people have been doing that to level up multiple jobs on one job that they're playing as. So you can be running through a level as a pugilist, but all your gear is specced towards like Lancer or Dragoon or Sword Fighter, and you'll get experience for all of those while just running around as a pugilist. It's a weird system. I didn't know about until recently, but very interesting to know that you can like level up all your different jobs without having to play as them. You just need their armor equipped.
Yeah, and you can sort of like keep it like sort of like an XP share thing, so you can be leveling up. So there's the diversity in what the job system brings is probably its biggest asset. So for example, if there's I think it's the warrior class, and you're literally holding a great sword, and you're like swinging things and cutting things in half.
Yep.
And then you've got like the pugilist class, and that's essentially the brawler type, where you've got two fists and you're just punching the shit out of things. Is that what the pugilist class is?
Yep, that's pugilist.
Yep, okay,
yeah.
good. And then you've got like things like the mage class, which is like focuses on long range
Spells.
holding down the button to charge the spell, and then you're launching it. Like the diversity in the classes is just fantastic. And because I was getting a bit tilted at one of the bosses, and I was like, I just couldn't do it with the class I was doing, so I just was changing the classes up on the fly as I was like versing the boss, and I was like, I'd go from like short range warrior to like hacking and slashing, and then I take like 3 or 4 steps back, and I'm a mage, and I'm casting spells that my party members are giving support so that I can cast those things. It's fantastic, like in terms of the adaptability and the fast pacedness of finding what works for you and allowing you to essentially do what's fun as you play it. And I really enjoyed that.
I also have a question. Have you found out about the rapid switch between jobs as you're in mid-combat?
I know you can switch it within combat. I'm not sure. What do you mean? How fast rapid are we talking here?
Like extremely rapid, as in so what you do is you know how you have those special skills on the right trigger?
Yeah.
What you can do is as those moves are coming out, like either during their animations or during their recovery frames, if you press the Y button to switch your job, you'll instantly switch to that other job, and you just cancel any recovery frames you would have, and you're able to immediately start attacking again.
That's cool. So you can do like you can be chaining combos across classes. Okay, that's pretty
cool. You can also, if you're also holding a direction as you're doing that, you'll do a step in that direction as you're switching. So you can do like a big attack with like the great sword, and cancel out the recovery and do a back step as you're switching to get into a safer range.
Fuck, that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's such a smooth game. Like the combat is the best part about the game, and you can tell they've really put in the work, and it is very fun to play.
It is. It's exceptionally fun to play and very addictive.
Cool. So, so there's a couple other points. I'm just going by what you guys have told me pre-show. Steve, you want to give us a quick 30 seconds over how the loot system works?
Well, so the loot system, it just literally, as you defeat enemies, it drops. But the amount it drops, you can quickly become a bit overwhelmed with the amount of gear you've got.
They give you 4,500 equipment slots before they're like, okay, you have to start dismantling stuff, which should give an idea of how much loot you're getting per run. Yeah, and I'm like even in like one room, and like you're facing off against 10 enemies, and you get like 8 different sets of equipment. It's sort of being a bit sort of overwhelming when you first
strip them down to their bones.
it's essentially, and then it just sort of becomes like a weird management system of like, all right, which one's the best one for which class? Which one has the affinities? Which one might not have the affinity for the job, but it lessens the casting time of spells by 5 seconds, so you might want to do it like that. Like it's interesting. I'm not too sure, but it seems like the loot's semi-random generated in like the stats, because you can have 2. Yeah, it seems like it because you'll get mage gear, and for some reason it's got affinity towards a hand-to-hand class or something. Yeah, which is weird. And you can have like 2 like sets of clothes that are like they look exactly the same. The stats looking the same. The effects they give you is very different.
Right. Yeah. Right.
There was that also on the loot system. I want to say that it's exceptionally gratifying when you're fighting a cactuar. You break its stamina gauge, so you get a special kill on it, and the special kill is you just throw it up into the air, and it pops like a pinata, dropping loot all over you.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
The loot shower.
Fuck, those like to run around. Fuck, it's so hard.
That's cool. The other note that I want to address before we wrap things up, Seth, you played through all of this in co-op.
Yeah, so you have experience with the Elden Ring co-op, do you not?
Vaguely, yeah.
Vaguely?
I've done a couple boss fights in co-op and things, but yeah, the sort of drop in, like the session-based co-op of you come in with an objective and then you complete the objective or fail and then co-op ends.
Yeah, so you also have like all the consumable items, which honestly isn't that hard to gather up for Elden Ring. You can get like a massive amount of them. But this is because everything is level-based rather than an open world. You just make a room and have people come in, and you're like, okay, let's just hop into this mission. And once the mission ends, you just go back to the room and go, okay, let's go to the next mission and the next mission. The only downside is that you can't continue story events in a room, so you have to disband for those. But then once the cutscenes are done, you just put the room back up and go, okay, let's continue more of the game. And it's
cool.
Yeah, it's very easy to get in and out of, and the actual co-op experience is pretty fun. There's a little bit of lag that you'd expect, but I was playing with my girlfriend who's over in America, and it was just like maybe a half second of a delay in what the parry timing would be, which isn't too bad in this type of game, I feel.
Doesn't have rollback netcode?
No.
I was just about to ask that.
We need to know.
I actually don't know what type of netcode this uses. I doubt it though. But
coming to you live with the netcode report, Seth.
Persona 4 Arena is getting netcode in summer.
Back to you, Patrick.
But yeah, it works really well. Like there was no issues, there wasn't any dropouts or anything like that. Gameplay was very smooth. So yeah, thumbs up on the co-op. They did very good on that, and making it a lobby system just alleviates any issues that you'd have with like compared to any other Soul-style game that has multiplayer.
That's cool. I imagine once the full game releases, we're going to hear a lot more about it from you two. So when does the full game come out, and will you two be getting it?
Tomorrow, yes.
Tomorrow and no. Well, not for full price. Like I'll definitely buy it. But the story's pretty weird and the graphics aren't really that good.
Yeah, so we didn't touch on it yet, but the graphics are really bad. Like on PS5, it feels like it's dropping down to 720p for some reason.
Yeah, and it's same with Xbox. Like it's fucking weird, and there's weird jagged edges that really shouldn't exist. But yeah, sorry to answer your question. I will pick it up eventually, not for full price.
Yeah,
once again, do not pay full price for games. Either they'll come to Game Pass, or I will get them for 75% off.
Or they have anime and you buy them for $35.
This could be classified as an anime game, depending on what you think about JRPGs. This is not a JRPG, but
I'd consider it a JRPG. More of an action.
Doesn't have turn-based
more of an action JRPG.
Look, we can talk about this forever, but a JRPG, in my definition, has turn-based combat.
Okay, so is Final Fantasy 15 not a JRPG?
No, that's an action RPG. That's the best game of all time.
Let's have this conversation another time.
when Josh is back and he can tell you that you're both wrong.
But he agrees with me on Final Fantasy 15 being a bad game.
Man, Josh Tay, I'm telling you right now.
Damn it, I shouldn't have told him that.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I do want to wrap things up here. We have plenty more to talk about, and as I say, I'm pretty sure we're going to end up hearing more about this in the future. I know that we said we'd move on to Batman. I just want to give a real quick GT7 impressions. So I'm not recording this from where I normally am. I am in Wellington, staying at a friend's house who happens to have Gran Turismo 7 on a PlayStation 5, which meant that I got to play Gran Turismo 7 on a PlayStation 5. And it's cool, but it's not the sort of game that I'd buy for myself. The main impressions I have, everything is very pretty, everything sounds really good. The physics of like driving over curbs is oddly satisfying. I don't really know why. And it's a fun driving experience. But the couple things that are sort of hang-ups for me, the first one is that when you have intermediate assists on, it will automatically brake for you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can turn that off, but yeah, I've heard about that.
I know you can turn it off. It's intermediate. Intermediate does the does the braking for you.
I've been watching someone stream the game, and they were trying really hard on a specific A-class driver test, and someone in their chat goes, "Oh, do you have this driver assist turned on? Turn it off." And immediately he was on that test for like an hour or two, and immediately the moment he turns it off, he cleared it with time to spare.
Nice. Yeah, I basically went into it, tried it once with like sort of as it comes, which I think in hindsight would have been with intermediate assists on. I'm actually not sure. And then I just whacked it up to all assists off, manual transmission. You know, the real driving really makes you feel like driving a car. Can't say that driving a Bugatti Veyron in Gran Turismo 7 is like driving a Bugatti Veyron in real life, but I'd believe it. It feels pretty close. I will say that you can turn all the assists off, but keep braking area on, because that's the only main one that's useful.
Strange. Yeah, so you reckon you'll get it yourself?
No.
Oh.
I'm much more of like an arcade racer fan. I really enjoyed Forza Horizon 5, and I will put much more hours into Forza Horizon 5, but I appreciate what Gran Turismo 7 does, and I enjoy playing it when I have access to it, but it's not the sort of thing that I think, man, you know what I really wish I was playing right now? Gran Turismo 7. Like, it's just not that sort of game for me.
Yeah, see, that's kind of where I stand, because I also prefer more of the arcadey style races. But I do want to give Gran Turismo 7 a try, just for the sake of playing another Gran Turismo after... God, it's been close to 20 years since the last time I've played one of those. But yeah, I'd want to get this one, but not for the price they're asking for it. It did go on sale recently for a price I would have bought it for, but with Elden Ring out at the moment and Stranger of Paradise coming up in a little bit, I decided to hold off because I don't know where I would have squeezed that into.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's basically all I want to say about it. You know, if Josh is back, I'm sure he'll have opinions, but yeah, it's fun. It's technically very impressive. It's just not the sort of thing that I would play for extended periods of time or pay $100+ for, at least in New Zealand. Anyway, Batman, one that we have all seen. Yes.
Yes.
So, Steve, your initial gut reaction. Yeah, your initial gut reaction was it was okay. 7.8 out of 10. Too much water. Okay. Pressing X to that.
Okay.
There, are we?
I wouldn't say okay. I would say it was not very good.
Fair enough. Seth, gut reaction.
I liked it. There's a few things that I'm hung up about on it in terms of like the script and what it did, but no, in general, I liked the movie.
Cool. We have I'd like to keep
You're the tiebreaker.
I also liked it. So sucks for you, Steve. I want to keep this discussion to 10-ish minutes if possible, just because otherwise we're going to end up blowing out
my editing.
Yeah, and you got Elden Ring to finish, buddy, so thinking of you. Shout out to you, future Seth. You're welcome. So, Steve, you're the one with the controversial and probably wrong opinion. What is the first thing that you didn't like about it?
It seemed like
the biggest thing you didn't like about it, rather.
The biggest thing I didn't like about it, it seemed like they were trying to do two different movies, and they did neither good. Like, okay, so let's set ground rules. How much of a spoiler are we doing this?
I'd say try to keep it light. If we're keeping it to 10 minutes, we should keep it light. Okay,
so the first movie is that sort of detective sort of thing, how he's trying to piece together I don't know how to say it without spoiling it.
No, we know who the villain is, so we can say it's the Riddler.
Well, okay, no, but like, there's that first part.
Wait, what?
Who? Riddle me this, Seth.
No.
There's the first part where it's very detective, who they're trying to work out who the Riddler is, but there seems to be a sort of background sort of theme to...
There's a big conspiracy that the Riddler is hinting towards.
And it's trying to unravel that, but it's doing two things at the same time.
Well, so what do you mean by that? Because the conspiracy is wrapped up in the detective story. So where is it that you're trying to split them?
I don't think it was split. It's just like every time the Riddler did something, that was the big thing, and the murder was there.
And then it felt like the conspiracy was a different storyline, even though it was loosely connected to Riddler.
Exactly, yeah. Like, they never really focused on one or the other. They sort of tried to do both, and like, it never felt like Batman could get any way further. And like, sometimes he reaches wrong conclusions until the Riddler fucking spells it out for him. It was just, and like every time he does something, he's fucking shit. Like there's that scene where he's inspecting the evidence, but like he has to walk through a whole line of policemen to get there. And his latex is making that fucking latex sound. And everybody's just watching him. And I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Why is he being escorted in? Like, he should just show up. Like, it just ruined the immersion. Like
and what was one of the lines? Why is the guy in a Halloween costume here?
Well, yeah, there's the whole Halloween. It's like, you must love this time of year. And someone's just fucking died and we're looking at a crime scene and you're having a dig at this guy. What the fuck, man?
I like how Patrick's laughing at all of these jokes and there's people going, oh, it's not funny like a Marvel movie.
But like a Marvel movie sort of knows when to tell the jokes and when not to. And they're funny one-liners, where this sort of seemed to like keep the whole theme of Halloween for that one section. And all the jokes are about Halloween, but none of them like really stick. It's all the same thing. Oh, he's a guy dressed as a bat. He must love Halloween. Hey, buddy, you can actually go out. You're the freak, even though it's Halloween. Like it was strange. I don't know. I didn't like the writing in it. The second part of the movie when there's that the big thing that happens, they sort of do that a lot better because the stakes are a lot raised. But it just sort of seems like it's the big disaster's happened, so he slows down for a bit when he should be fucking speeding up because there's a lot of shit to do. Yeah, it just seemed like it was in two different spaces the whole movie, and because of that, it didn't really work very good.
Interesting. Seth, you liked it. Do you feel that it was two different movies?
No, I get where Steve is coming from because it does feel like at times that it's focusing too much on the conspiracy side rather than like connecting things to the Riddler. But no, I felt like it was all one interconnected thing, and I'd say my biggest gripe is that there's a point where the conspiracy storyline ends, and then it just has to go all in on the Riddler thing, and it feels like when the conspiracy ended, that feels like a natural end to a movie, and then it just keeps going for like another 40 minutes.
Yeah. It definitely feels like they should have been resolved at the same time. Then
I know that exact point because I really had to use the bathroom in the cinema, and then I got to that point and I thought the movie must be ending soon, and then just sat through the next like 50 odd minutes going, well now if I go, I'm definitely going to miss the ending.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour movie. That's such a long time to sit through and need to pee. I went a little earlier than the final beat for the conspiracy stuff, so I did it like a good quieter moment. Yeah,
you definitely made the correct choice.
There's a lot of water in that second part as well, so it would have been
it was hell. I'll be honest.
A lot of sloshing. But my actual two gripes with the movie that I have myself is that Catwoman has a line that's like, well, they deserve that they're rich white men, and she's a brown character, and God, as a brown person myself, I'm so sick of media doing this and like seeing it online like, oh yeah, rich white people deserve shit because they're white and they're rich, so fuck them. And it's like, okay, I get it. We're getting enough of this in real life. We don't need it in media as well. And it feels a bit heavy-handed.
It seemed like forced in because she's saying it to Batman, who is white. Like it was.
Yeah, and she's saying it right after she said, "Oh well, you must have grown up privileged."
Yeah. Well, that part did make sense though.
It does, but I feel like scripts-wise, it's a bit heavy-handed, and I hate that sort of heavy-handedness. And in going into that, God, this is kinda spoilery, so if I'll say it, and if you guys say I should edit it out, then I will. But the Riddler feels very like current incel-ish type of villain, and that also kind of went sour for me.
I thought it suited the Riddler's character really well.
It does in a way, but it also feels like very current and like also. Like, following off that Catwoman thing, I also felt like this is more kind of heavy-handedness.
I disagree that I think the Riddler was perfect.
I would have been fine with it.
I
would have been fine with it if it was just himself. But the way the second part of that Riddler plot carries out, it's like, okay, it's a bit too on the current news sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like that.
It is. I
Yeah.
just didn't like that direction
Yeah,
myself.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that point. I personally didn't mind it, but yeah, no, I definitely could see why you wouldn't. Because if you watch that in like 20 years' time, it's gonna be like, who the fuck is this guy type of thing. Yeah, no, that's right.
On that, so everyone's sort of airing their dirty laundry, if you will. I found it almost comical every scene that Robert Pattinson was Bruce Wayne.
Oh fuck, yes,
Yeah.
that is correct.
Where it seems like almost all of his script lines involve "we need you to look across the camera" multiple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson was a good Batman, but a bad Bruce Wayne.
Oh no, I think that was the point. This is very early in the career of Batman, so this is supposed to be the point where Bruce Wayne doesn't exist to him yet. It's all or nothing Batman, and I think Robert Pattinson did that very well.
Yeah, I think with what he was told to do with what the film is, great. But I just have this expectation, maybe wrongly placed on me from watching the Christopher Nolan trilogy, in that Bruce Wayne is still this...
He's charismatic.
It's not even charisma. It's someone that can just exist normally outside the house.
Yeah,
Like, no, you're right.
And it feels like he's 2 steps from either punching someone in the face or breaking down, and I could never tell which.
Yeah, and there's that weird sort of side story he has of him sort of ripping on Alfred, like, "Oh, you're not my dad."
Yeah.
And then there's an event, and then as soon as Alfred wakes up, he's like, "Why didn't you tell me? You fucking lied to me." He's like, "Bro, I've been out
Because
for
I'm
a
not your
while."
dad. Because you kept telling me you're not my dad. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was, and that really never gets resolved. Like, there's no, I didn't think it was resolved.
No, I'd agree with that. The other piece that I like, and I realize we're sort of coming towards the 10-minute. The other piece that I found weird is that
we've just aired all our dirty laundry. We haven't actually talked about the positives of why we like the movie.
Sure,
I didn't like the
and
movie, but
I sort of expected that if I said, shut up, Steve, that if I said that we'll set it for 10 minutes, we'll probably end up going for 15, so I will take another couple minutes. It's fine. Sorry, future Seth. I found that it's quite weird that towards the end of the conspiracy plotline, Batman goes and finds some evidence. And then in the next scene, he goes and talks to someone that refutes the evidence that he just found. And it's like, does Batman just not have an opinion on this? Because it seems like we're just being dragged from scene to scene, and Batman's like, okay, I now believe this. And then the next scene, like, oh, but I was told to believe this. Was that wrong? And they're like, yeah, it was wrong. He's like, okay.
Yeah, it's literally like 10 minutes later. He's told a different
No,
point
it's
of
not
view,
even 10 minutes. It's like the next scene, and he's like, okay, I will no longer believe the first thing. And then he goes to a third guy, and the third guy's like, why did you listen to the second guy telling you that the first thing was a lie? And so you as the audience is just like, man, it would be really useful to hear Batman give his opinion on something. But positives.
What do you think of his makeup?
What, on the
Man, the
eyes?
eyeliner game was on point.
Oh,
Why the fuck was he wearing eyeliner? I don't understand it. Isn't that one point he's got a mask?
Yeah, but
And
it also
like,
darkens around the eyes and just makes all of that area blackened out.
I like to think that it's like Mad Max where they do the Valhalla spray, but he just does that every time he's about to go out and fight crime.
Yeah, I don't know.
Positives
I don't know
though.
about it.
I really liked the tone that it went for.
Yeah, I liked the tone of the movie. I liked the setting they put it in of like this is early in his career, so he's more rough and focused on the wrong thing. So he's making these mistakes. So it's an origin story without being an origin story, if that makes sense. Like we're not seeing like the birth of Batman, where he's very much starting the career, but we're seeing like the beginning of him becoming what Batman should be.
Vengeance.
Yes. But no, so we go through like this character arc of like this is how Batman started, but he's doing it for the wrong reasons, and we're seeing him grow into what Batman should be.
Yeah, like he's only like 2 years into it. Like you can tell he's gotten the Batman part right. He just doesn't have the balance right.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that reminds me. That was another funny moment of he drives I think it's a bike down some stairs, round a corner, and then just drives through a subway tunnel for a bit, and then finds the Batcave. But there's nothing stopping just some rando just walking in the wrong direction and just walking into the Batcave.
Yeah,
and you're like, what the
right.
fuck?
Yeah.
What the hell is this place? Also, really liked the Batmobile design and really liked the Penguin. Penguin
was so good.
Yep. Penguin was the best part of that. Yep,
I also
100%.
liked Gordon. Gordon was pretty good in this movie.
He seemed very much a 90s buddy cop. Don't worry, he's with me.
That guy in the bat suit, he's with me. Let him in.
Yeah. Now, to get you out of here, you got to punch me in the face.
Yeah.
And he just fucking wails on him. Like,
Yeah, he just
You could have held
absolutely
back.
drops him. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good interaction, actually.
And then 10 minutes later, he's got the fucking bat signal on.
But no, it's because of that buddy cop dynamic that I like Gordon in this. Like, you need someone to play off Batman when Batman's this broody.
But they could have just like left him being broody. It just seemed like Gordon was just sort of asking a question all the time, and Batman's like, "Yeah." I don't know. Maybe I'm just sort of reading
or he doesn't say anything, and he just walks around in a giant latex bat suit, just walking around a crime scene silently. You're like
making that fucking squeaking noise.
Yeah, you're like, this is different.
Also, the beatdowns in this movie are brutal when they happen.
Oh, they are. Yeah. Agreed.
Oh no, yeah, but how good, and it's like in the fight scenes as well. It's good to see like Batman actually getting like sort of hit.
Yeah, he's not perfect, so he's still taking licks himself. But like,
which is I really enjoy that.
Yeah,
that car chase scene is shit, but
you take that back. I love that car chase scene.
It was like pretty good, but it just went for like a little bit too long, and then it's like,
that's what I was going to say. I really enjoyed it.
Ramsey.
I really enjoy it. It just went for a little bit too long for what it does, because it's like, what's the point? He's racing after someone and he catches them. You're like, yeah, it's interesting because they do, cool things with it for a bit. And then it's like, all right, we're sort of, it's like checking your watch, like, yep, still chasing, huh? And then like some big set pieces happen. You're like, okay, that was, yep, still chasing. Cool. And then he chases them anyway, and you're like, well, that was a given. Yeah. Overall though, I enjoyed it. I like what it's doing. I can see why people are enjoying this as a change. I didn't see the previous one with Ben Affleck. Yeah,
you don't need to, since this is a whole new take on Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a better movie, but
I still have a special place in my heart from the Christopher Nolan trilogy. I don't know if I want this to be any better than that, but it's doing something different, so I can appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. I'd put this up there with the Nolan movies, honestly. Like, I don't think it beat out The Dark Knight, but it's probably better than the first one for me.
Batman Begins?
Yeah, Batman Begins.
Fair enough. Final thoughts, Steve, as I realize we've now smashed the 15-minute mark.
Oh, fantastic. I didn't like it.
Final thoughts, it's shit.
Yeah.
Wasn't worth the risk of COVID to go see it in the cinemas.
The cinema's pretty dead. It wasn't worth the fucking money. Because I got it for
didn't
cheap,
feel like
cheap
Batman 0 out of 10.
It doesn't feel like fucking...
Was the popcorn good at least?
I didn't get popcorn on movies. What do you think I am, made out of money? Get out of here.
Final question, and then we're just moving on regardless. Did you laugh or not laugh when Batman crashes?
I laughed. That was so fucking funny. I love that.
That was so good.
That was the best.
My brother actually went for a bathroom break just before that, and he missed that bit.
Ooh, rough.
Yeah, I did one of those like ha in the movies, and like the people in front of me like looked at me, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. That was funny.
that was good. That was a good bit. Why didn't you laugh too?
Yeah, I laughed a bit too much in that movie, especially in the serious scenes. But
fair enough. And with that, we come to the end of the Batman chat. Thank you both. And with that, which I already just said, cool. We are at the end of Round the Lounge this week. Thank you to both of you. And actually, that brings us to the end of part 1 for this week, which leads us into part 2, which is the news. And the crown jewel of the news this week will be the Monster Hunter Sunbreak news, which we will get into at the end. First up, we actually mistakenly discussed this earlier in the podcast. Oops. The Elden Ring update. You can just flick back a few minutes and listen to Seth talk about Elden Ring, and we actually discussed the update there. Excuse me. Next up on the list, we have a kind of funny, kind of sad, depending on how you look at it, story of someone using or misappropriating some COVID-19 funds to buy a Charizard Pokemon card. Probably not a huge amount that we need to add. I just found it very funny and wanted to share it with the world.
That's a very stupid way to spend that much money when it's for COVID pandemic funds.
Absolutely. So one man in Georgia, I'm not going to either try and pronounce his name or give him the attention that he probably wants, fraudulently obtained some COVID relief funds and purchased a Charizard card for $57,789. he is now in prison. That's sort of the only arc to the story that matters.
I imagine it's for the fraud, but I'd like to think it's because he bought the Charizard card.
I'd like to think that he was punished for making poor choices. Yeah. He will have to return. So yeah. So he got $85,000. I assume as part of some COVID relief fund. To like help his business through the pandemic. You know, everyone's been doing it rough, and then decided to use $57,000 of that on a Pokemon card. GG. Enjoy prison. That's probably all we need to say about that.
He has to return the $85,000 loan, and on top of that, pay a $10,000 fine.
And forfeit the Pokemon card.
Yeah.
He gets nothing. Good day, sir.
Yeah. Oh, well, maybe better luck next time, big fella. Try your next scheme. Did any of you guys collect anything during the pandemic? Any cards? Any weird hobbies? Any pet rocks? Yeah, good chat.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
I bought a couple of starter decks and the first set for Cardfight Vanguard's new release, but then I didn't have the money to continue that.
Fair enough. I don't think I picked up new hobbies, sure, and that got into some more like self-learning, made some better lifestyle choices, the usual mid-pandemic shiz, but I don't think I started collecting anything, particularly nothing that's got multiple $1,000 price tags attached. Yeah, it's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, no, pandemic time was actually very fruitful for me because I was doing all my uni stuff in the middle of the pandemic.
I feel like you're asking that because you want to be asked, Steve. What did you get into during the pandemic?
Absolutely fucking nothing. I'll tell you that much for free.
Okay, I completely misread that. Never mind.
I did work. I played video games. I went for a run. That was it. Living the dream, right?
Absolutely.
I think I'm getting a bit tired of these social events, actually. I think it's time for another lockdown. I wouldn't do... 2 weeks would be all right, actually.
2 weeks and it'll be over.
Yeah, so if 2 weeks out of 2 year lockdown, right? So big COVID, if you're listening, I knew you just dropped the new variant.
Hook us up.
The new variant just dropped. Babe, wake up.
I swear to God, if we wake up tomorrow to news of a new variant, I'm blaming you.
Well, sorry. Well, is there a new variant, Pat? You're 2 years in the future. Soon to be 3 years, but daylight savings ending soon.
I feel like you mean hours, but I'll take the years.
That's what I meant.
There is Sigma COVID running around.
The Sigma COVID grind set.
Yeah. It's just nothing but grind. Of course, COVID's grind is to kill humanity, so not the sort of grind we want, but 'tis the reality we have. Anyway, next up on the list, we have an absolute mad lad. This is just a Reddit article. I don't know if there's any further sources, but someone has taken some Joy-Cons, a 3D printed adapter, and a Galaxy Z Flip, and they have made a Z Flip DS by running an emulator on the phone, and it's beautiful. I want one. It's
so good. Because I have a Z Flip coming in, I want to do this immediately. I just need to get the 3D printed adapter. But they said in the comments for this Reddit thread is that the controllers just hook up really easily through Bluetooth, so there's no actual problem with controller connection. As long as you can Bluetooth them, they'll work fine on this emulator.
And the question is, will there be Joy-Con drift?
God, there's always Joy-Con drift.
Yeah, like there's the Pope shit in the woods. Yeah, that looks pretty. It does look pretty cool. There are a couple of DS games that I probably want to go back and play, and also in the screenshot he's playing a Gen 5 Pokemon game. It looks like so. Once again, you're reminded how good Gen 5 is.
Gen 5's such a good gen.
And wow, Josh isn't here to refute.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God all three of us are in agreement and there is no dissenting opinion.
There are no Josh takes about Gen 5 this week.
Not in God's house there aren't. Cool. I don't know if it's going to be much more than a passing fancy on Reddit, but thank you to you, kind sir, for sharing that with the world, because what a fantastic... See, that right there is the use of a hobby during lockdown.
Hang on. Can Seth play the bell? I think it's Kickstarter time.
Bell noise here.
Hey, Jamie, pull that shit up.
What did you find? Wait. Sorry. Let me do it properly. Coming to you live this week, straight into the Fast Travel Lounge news desk. We're going to cross live to Steve at Kickstarter.com. Steve, what do you got? What have you? What's the latest?
I just opened the tab, so I'm just looking. I don't know. I did the bit too early. Sorry.
I think you did. I really thought you had something.
I thought you had something.
I meant conducting
headphones.
Kickstarter bit, as in like it's time for Stephen to look and find a Kickstarter bit. Man, maybe just cut this out, Seth.
But you say it mid-recording, so we think you have a bit.
Yeah. Coming to you live.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I didn't think this through.
Okay. Well, don't worry. Here to fish you out, as always, is Pat. Pat, what's the next news story? Well, thanks, Pat. Next up on the news, we have a Babylon's Fall survey going out. Babylon's Fall might be remembered for such bangers as "No one played this" and "Oh shit, this game actually released." Which
I am getting the Steam database charts right now for that game. 24-hour peak is 384.
Wait. Breaking news coming into the Fast Travel Lounge news desk. We're going to cross live to Seth with some Steam database charts. Seth, what's the latest?
Babylon's Fall all-time peak was 1,166 players. The last 24 hours was 384.
Jesus.
The last 5 minutes was 151.
That's some Nick All-Star Brawl tier shit.
Fucking hell, that's so bad.
That's awful. Oh no. Probably quite rightly. This is Square Enix, yeah?
Square Enix and Platinum Games. Not sure which one of these released a survey.
Yeah, but they would really like to know how to get people to play the game that they spent a lot of time and money making. And so they are surveying hopefully more than the 1,000 people that have played it.
Oh, I took a look at the survey. I didn't fill it in because I haven't actually looked into the game all that much. But there are options of no, I didn't play the game.
Okay, well, there we go. But they're basically, let's give them benefit of the doubt. They're looking for ways to improve the game so that people will be more inclined to play it. Fair enough, admirable. Hopefully it goes well. If you, I don't know, are feeling particularly kind. Well, first of all, if you've played Babylon's Fall, congratulations, you're on an endangered species list. Second of all, if you enjoyed the game, you should fill the survey out. But more importantly, if you didn't enjoy the game, you should really fill the survey out, because I do think we should encourage game developers when something doesn't go right. If they want to survey player bases, I do think we should reward them for that. So it's probably quite an admission of defeat for a publisher to come out and want to publish a survey on the back of what's basically been a failure. So hopefully the survey actually does lead to some meaningful change.
I think they're going to do multiple surveys as well, because this specific survey just focuses on the graphics and art style of the game, so nothing gameplay related. So there might be another one coming down the line for that and see what player impression is on the gameplay. But for now, they're just asking specifically about the graphics. Going into character models as well. Like, do you like the character models? If not, why?
Which, in some ways, is stuff that you think would have been ironed out before the game released. But anyway, this was news that was brought to us by a tweet from at Babylon's Fall EN, which is funny because on the Twitter post, under relevant people next to it, is just Babylon's Fall, at Babylon's Fall EN, where the profile is experience thrilling combat in at Square Enix and at Platinum Games Inc.'s new looter hack and slash, Babylon's Fall, available now. Have fun joining Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl on the graveyard of Steam.
Hey, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is getting some showing at Evo, isn't it? It's getting higher.
It's true. It's doing better than Babylon's Fall.
Every time Square Enix releases a banger, they also release a fucking failure like this.
The duality of it.
Yeah, behold, the duality of man.
Yeah. The yin and the yang, right? For every good game, there must be an equally shit game.
It's true. I believe Sun Tzu said that in The Art of War. Anyway, right. So that gets the small pieces out of the way. Now we got the big boy, the piece we've all been waiting for. I've been super pumped for this. We had a 20-minute long Capcom YouTube video talking all about Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak news. And we've got a few cliff notes that we want to go through. First of all, have we all seen it? It was required reading for this week. Hopefully we all did our homework.
I did.
Steve?
I left it in my other pants. My dog ate my homework. My grandma just died. What excuse can I pull out of the bag that you'll believe?
You were too busy making a shit pun to watch the 20-minute video.
The footy was on. That's it. That's what I'm going for. Footy was on.
But speaking of the footy, Steve, who's playing?
It's the Storm versus the Bunnies.
No one cares, Steve.
Exactly. No one fucking cares.
Wow.
Panthers play tomorrow at 6 against the Dragons. That's all that matters.
we'll look forward to your update next week on that. Anyway, so in this 20-minute video, I don't know the best way to do that. I've got some rough bullet points, which maybe we can talk through. I don't know that we're going to want to expand on all of these points, but I think it is worth discussing them at least. So the main thing is that it's been given an a release date, 30th of June this year. So we have 3 months. Yeah, basically 3 months dead. With which it will be on its way out.
Have you pre-ordered it already?
Not yet, because I am not at home. So
that is a fair point. Wait, if you're getting it on Steam, you could do it through your mobile phone.
Yeah, I could. I realize, as I said it, that not being at home is a weak excuse, and it is 2022. Yeah, I will be pre-ordering it soon.
How much is it? How much is the expansion? Is it expansion prices or what's the deal there?
Let me double check.
I don't know what the price is.
So you're just gonna start? What if it's like $80, like Dragon Ball Breakers?
I'd do it.
If I'm buying Dragon Ball the Breakers for $80, I'm definitely getting Monster Hunter Rise for $80.
Because in my mind, Monster Hunter
so
Iceborne,
the expansion by itself is $56.99 Australian, but if you go for the deluxe edition, it's $72.86.
Yeah, and I believe Iceborne was like 80 to 90. Might have even been higher at launch.
It might have been 100 for the deluxe edition.
Yeah, and that was absolutely worth it. So I'd be willing to pay anything up to that. So the fact that it seems relatively cheap is even better news for me. I can spend the money difference on huffing a slight 1 or 2 milliliters of gas at those prices. Anyway, so yes, so we have confirmation that it's going to be released June 30th. Looking forward to that. It'll come with, as Seth just said, a deluxe edition available, where that will give you access to some layered armor and hairstyles. That's basically it for the deluxe edition, I think.
There's a few things. Let me quickly pull it up. I was just going to leave it for when they explain it in the thing, but I might as well do it now. You get a layered armor for the dog, which turns it into a Shiba Inu. You get
no. So that's the pre-order bonus.
Oh, right, it is too. This is a different dog layered armor. It says loyal dog costume. It also gives you a striped cat costume for the Palico. And gives the player character a couple of layered armored sets, some gestures, and some makeup and hairstyles.
The usual sort of cosmetic level stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm not sure I'm going to get the deluxe edition, but that's
I
available.
will, because the layered armor set you get for the player character looks really good. It is right up my alley.
I'll have to go back and double check that myself. They've also announced some amiibos, which, man, I don't normally get into amiibos, but the layered armor, the formal dragon set that comes with that comes as layered armor with the amiibo, looks so good.
I need a way to get that in the PC version.
Yeah, 100%. It looks amazing.
Does it do anything? Does it have good stats?
No, it's just layered armor. It's just
layered armor.
Okay.
Yeah, layered armor is just cosmetic.
Yep. That's right. I always forget.
So all of the stats will be on the actual armor. The layered armor is just how you appear. But man, it looks so good. What else? Couple of laundry list points. So as part of when it comes out on June 30th, they're releasing a 13 gigabyte title update. And that is for people, whether or not they've pre-ordered Sunbreak, which probably won't be a big deal for people playing on Steam. But for people that haven't bought any kind of expansion for Switch, that's going to be a big hit to storage storage devices.
They had to put in, make sure you have space for this update specifically for the Switch people, because 13 gigabytes isn't that bad on PC.
Yeah.
But when you take
13, that'll fill up the Switch. How much internal space does the Switch have again?
28 or 32?
Yeah.
I think it's 32, but you have 28 available to use.
Yeah, and plus, if you've
right.
actually got like a digital copy of Rise, that's it. That's what you got. Enjoy your games, big fellas. Fucking hell.
So, I mean, it's not too bad to get an SD card to expand the storage, but it's still not ideal. So that's a bit meh. Anyway, what else do we have? We have, so as part of that, they're also giving you a few rewards as, like, I guess, sorry in advance for making you download 13 gigs. Some character edit vouchers, some in-game items, bits and pieces. The interesting thing, which I found, this one I do want to get your guys' opinion on. They, until tomorrow, weirdly enough, so it probably doesn't even matter to people listening to this when this comes out. But they are offering a trial of Monster Hunter Rise available to Nintendo Switch Online members only. And that just sounds weird to me. Why would a demo be behind a Nintendo Switch Online membership?
Probably for the multiplayer aspects.
Surely you can just take the multiplayer aspect out of it then. Like, it's just that's strange.
Yeah, I imagine it's to push people to try the multiplayer.
It definitely struck me as strange. And then also having it time gated until tomorrow. Like, tomorrow you can no longer play the free trial of a game that you might be paying $60 for. Anyway, it was just sort of odd to me. I'm glad that I wasn't the only one. It sounds like it's also odd to you too. They are also, as part of this big announcement that they did, Monster Hunter Rise is on sale. The idea being that you do the trial and then go, actually, this is really fun, and then buy the full game at a reduced price. But of course, you need to be a Nintendo Switch Online member for that. So, I don't know. It seems kind of like a weird 1-2 punch from them on that. So that's kind of around what's going to happen when it comes out. The next thing I want to talk about is just a couple of quick things that they talked about as to what Sunbreak is itself. So Sunbreak, much like Iceborne, is endgame DLC. It adds the master rank, which, phew, thank you. Everyone got to high rank very quickly and then sort of hit the ceiling of, okay, this is high rank, we want more. Master rank is its own tier, so it would be low rank, high rank, master rank.
It feels like you hit high rank much faster in this than you did in Worlds. Like, even hitting the ceiling was much faster than what you did in World.
Definitely agree. And so that means as part of it, which is why I'm kind of glad that I know about this now, there's no point grinding for extra armor sets and weapon sets. Well, maybe weapons, but there's no point grinding for armor sets because you're going to turf them all out and start again when you hit master rank. Anyway, and to activate, in air quotes, the Sunbreak DLC, you need to fight Thunder Serpent Nawa, which is the kind of the hidden final boss of Monster Hunter Rise, but I think most people would have hit that organically just by playing the game. Certainly not too much of a wall that would stop you.
Is that the multiplayer one?
It's the one in the guild.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's the multiplayer one.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it solo. It's not.
Yeah.
Too difficult.
But I mean, like, they have the solo missions, and then they have like the guild, which is multiplayer missions that are.
Yeah.
But
so
you can still take them solo.
Yes, you can. Yeah. And so once you do Nawa, you will meet. Shoot, I had her name down. Yeah, Dame Fiorane. You'll meet Dame Fiorane, who will take you on a magical boat to an entirely new location. This one I wanted to get your take on, Seth. Because, Steve, I know I keep asking you this, but you've played Monster Hunter sparingly, and you haven't played much Rise. Is that...
I have not played a single thing. Oh, I played World, I did not play Rise.
Yeah, cool. I was right.
So we'll get your opinion when World 2 is announced.
Yeah.
Well, if they do a really... I don't know, from what you guys have said about it before, it just seems like we've got Monster Hunter World at home.
Yeah,
No, that's what we're saying. World 2.
No, like, sorry, I mean like Rise seems like you've got Monster Hunter World at home. So
kind of, yeah. It feels like Monster Hunter World, but they had to drastically cut back for the Switch hardware.
Yeah, so realistically, I probably will be waiting until World 2.
Yeah, that's what I said at the beginning.
I sort of wanted to see if I actually would get Rise, because
it's cheap, and there's a trial. You could play the trial right now.
You have until tomorrow.
Until tomorrow.
Speedrun 90%.
So you will go to a new location, and this is what I found interesting, is that, Seth, from the video, this looks to be a much more vertical town. And I find that interesting because in World, it was a very vertical town, and I think it suits Monster Hunter quite well that it is vertical. But
yeah, you had all the different layers for different things.
But it raises the question of why the town in regular Monster Hunter Rise is so flat when we have the wire bug mechanic, because I think it's going to be excellent zipping up and down a very vertically focused town in Sunbreak. But it made me question why it is that they made it so flat and I don't know, unassuming in the base game. Any thoughts?
I think it was to go with the theming of, like, this is a Japanese village, so it's all very flat ground and everything, which is why this is such a drastic departure, because this is more European castle setting now, so that gives it an excuse to go for the more vertical theme. Layouts.
Yeah, I guess.
And yeah, Kimura Village is supposed to feel like a small group of hunters are living together and just making life work.
I guess my big concern is that in Iceborne, the village of Celiana and the village of Estera were still kind of equally fun to explore. They both had parts that were just interesting to go and do. I feel like, and I hope I'm wrong.
Sorry, I got to cut you off for a second, but this is actually Rise and World are actually kind of the reverse of each other, because in Worlds, Estera was the tall vertical one, and then Celiana was the more flat one. It had some fun things to find in there, but it was much more flats than the Worlds hub was. And the most fun thing about that was that's the second hub, Worlds, had that spa you could go into with other players. While
I agree with all that, but Rise sells itself on its mobility, so it still seems like it's going to, like, what I think might happen is that they're going to release this new location, which I think I noted the name of it down. Maybe not. A new location. Elgato Outpost. And that in Elgato, I feel like it's going to be so much more fun to move around within that they're going to be less likely to go back to Kimura Village than in World going back to Estera. That's the point that I was going to make.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, which is a shame, but I think that's sort of a consequence of if they make the new location so sick that people are just going to want to be in the new location. Fair enough. Other new things that are interesting and worth talking about. I really like Bahari. He's introduced as a Wyverian scientist who's oblivious to the world around him, which makes me think it's going to give very big Handler from World vibes, and we're going to have to rescue him from something.
He's not as cute as the Handler, so I don't care.
Let him die.
Tell us what you really feel.
He's not as cute as the Handler, so I don't care.
Yeah, I think that is probably how he really feels. The other interesting things, this is kind of in tandem with each other. We have a new location which looks super interesting called the Citadel, where it seems to be a hybrid area, because most Monster Hunter Rise locales are about doing one thing and expanding that one thing into an entire area. But they marketed the Citadel as a place that has elements of like a city, because it's like an abandoned citadel, forest type areas, as well as ice and mountainous areas. So it almost gives snowy mountain vibes from Monster Hunter 2.
Yeah. So did Iceborne add more than one map? Because I can't remember if it did.
No, Hoarfrost Reach was the only thing it added, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because I was going to say, this feels like this is like just the one map they're going to add, so they wanted to get as much out of it as they could. But I was kind of getting the impression that it was that... What was that other thing they added in Iceborne that was like, you go in there and just explore as much as you want until you leave the area, and it had the different research levels associated with it. And
the Guiding Lands.
Yeah, the Guiding Lands, that's the one. I was getting the impression that this was like their version of the Guiding Lands for Rise.
Oh, that would be interesting. I feel like the locale, if they're marketing it as a locale though, they're marketing it like Hoarfrost Reach. I don't think they're doing anything like Guiding Lands.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's just, as I was watching this, that was the impression I got. Yeah, but you're probably right.
Yeah, although now that you mention it, I do really like... I really liked the idea of the Guiding Lands, and taking it back a step further, Monster Hunter 4 doing the guild expeditions, where it's just a little bit of RNG into some endgame content that just cycles itself over. Excellent. Hopefully they do something like that. They didn't announce it, but it's not to say that it's not coming. The other so in tandem with the new location are some new monsters that you can find in that new location. The main three being the Three Lords, which play a role in the story of Sunbreak, where we have Garangoln, who looks like a Conga Lala with battle armor on, and I am all about it.
A what, sorry?
Conga Lala. He is a fanged beast from earlier Monster Hunter games. Big pink monkey, likes burping mushrooms and throwing shit at you.
Kangalana.
Conga Lala.
Kongalala.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whack that in your search history.
that's a baboon. It's spelled with a
It
C.
is.
Everybody at home, it's a C, not a K. Man,
Don't
that's
do a Steve.
The second Google image result is him pooping out something.
Yeah, that's him. That's the guy.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
Sorry, play on.
Garen Golm looks a lot like a Kungulala or something of that family with battle armor on. Looks to be a very interesting fight.
Yeah, it looks like a mix between a kind of like a barrier and a God, what's the name? Rajan.
Ooh, okay. I was thinking more Gos Harag vibes with the weapons on each arm.
Yeah, that too.
But yeah, so that looks to be an interesting fight. We have Luna Garen, which is the Ice Zenogre, which is also kind of Barrioth in terms of style. That looks awesome and real annoying.
Yeah, when it gets up on its hind legs and starts slashing around, I'm like, that's gonna be a pain to deal with.
Yeah, he's
And
gonna roar.
It even has a little low
back.
kick.
Yeah, and he's gonna yell, "Catch these hands!" and he's just gonna start swinging. But that looks to be an interesting fight.
And spoiler alert, I will catch all of the hands and properly cart.
Yeah, but the big boy, the one that I am so keen for, Malzeno, which annoyingly on the name makes it sound like Malfestio, which is not much of a threat. But Malzeno, oh man, looks like a dragon that just drains the life force of its enemies.
Yeah. I'm also looking at Astalos at the moment, and that small teaser for Astalos was very cool.
Yeah. So those were two other monsters that were announced. So we've got Astalos making a return, which means that Gammoth is the only thing that won't be in Rise, because Glavenus is in Rise, I believe. Unless I've been playing too much of a previous Monster Hunter game. I'm pretty sure Glavenus is in Rise.
Glavenus was in World. I don't know if it's in Rise.
Okay, maybe it was Rise that World that I was playing more recently then. But yes, so Astalos, another one of the big four from Monster Hunter 4, making a comeback, which is awesome. Astalos is a super sick monster. I am kind of holding out hope that they bring Seregios back, but I don't think they will. That's just a pet favorite of mine. But we also have a variant confirmed, the Blood Orange Bishartan, which just looks fucking epic.
It also looks super annoying because I will catch all of the bombs it throws.
Yeah.
All of the what? Sorry, bombs? Bongs?
Yeah, so
yes,
Bishartan,
BOMBS.
Okay.
Bishartan is known as a monkey that stands on. It's kind of like an apom. It's got like a hand for a tail.
Yeah, think Monster Hunter Apom.
Yeah, and it'll just lob fruit at you. And then the nice people at Capcom thought, what if it was bombs instead of fruit? And what if the Bishartan was on fire? And now we have Blood Orange Bishartan. But that looks to be an interesting fight. I'm looking forward to it.
I think that'll be an interesting one because Bishartan is kind of a pushover.
It is a bit. I've saw someone that correlated it with Pookie Pookie, the Coral Pookie Pookie variant that got announced in Iceborne, and how Pookie Pookie is a pushover, but Coral Pookie Pookie, generally fine, but it'll just have moments where it'll just beat the shit out of you and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, definitely. And I can see that happening with this.
And I can see that happening with this too. The other thing we're talking about is that we have a few new mechanics being introduced. They tease some wirebug attacks, but most of the wirebug attacks are for weapons that I don't normally use, so I don't actually know which ones were new and which ones they were just showcasing. We saw some cool ones like a really cool jump to the monster and just slice and dice with dual blades.
Yeah, that looks new because it was more of a drill attack towards it rather than like a jump or attach to it.
Yes.
Because the one that's currently in there, I believe it has you roll down the spine of the monster, which is a move I've always loved it when I saw it in World. But this is more like you turn into a drill and just dive towards the monster.
Yep. And there's also the they did it a few times using a bowgun to shoot through like a little area, and it looks like it amplifies the bullets.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, but kind of standard.
Yeah, I don't really use bowguns, but if it's new and if it's good, cool. Maybe I'll pick one up. The one that I was more interested in, though, is that Iceborne introduced an entire new clutch claw mechanic, and I feel like they teased something slightly similar to that where they showed someone shoving a Tigrex into a wall using a wirebug attack. Did you see that, Seth?
Yeah, I saw that, and I was thinking maybe it's something specific to the Switch axe because that's the weapon that he had equipped when they were showing that clip. And
True.
we were talking a little bit off mic, but off recording. But I got when you say clutch claw, I get the impression like you latch onto it and like weaken that part. This seemed more like you grab onto it and make it ricochet to where you want it to go.
Yeah. The clutch claw mechanic was a fantastic addition in Iceborne. So I guess I'm kind of like, would you like to see a mechanic, not necessarily clutch claw, but a new mechanic in that sense introduced in Sunbreak?
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty fun to try and do something like the clutch claw again. Like, it was a lot of fun in Iceborne. There was a lot of funny moments with it. Making other monsters run into each other using the clutch claw was a lot of fun.
True, and it's also worth noting that clutch claw, even though it was a mechanic introduced in Iceborne, it's a mechanic introduced to everyone. Like, regardless of if you had Iceborne or not, it was part of the title update. So it's not like a DLC mechanic specifically, which I think is also worth highlighting because it's good that it works like that.
Yeah, and I think this wirebug thing will be the same. Like, you're getting that 13 gigabyte update. I think all of those mechanics will be available to everyone. It's just the new map won't be.
Yeah, agreed. And so because it's behind the 7-star Take Out Thunder Serpent Narwhal quest, they've also announced that they are making it easier for people to get there through the addition of some weapons, which I think they were always available. They're just now given to you as opposed to you having to make them, or just because I recognize the defender weapons from World, maybe that's just something else from World that I'm consciously. I think
you're just consciously thinking of World again, because when Iceborne was coming out, World did the exact same thing of, hey, here's this defender armor set which will just carry you through all of World, so you can get ready for Iceborne right away.
Hey, fair enough, and if it helps people get ready for Sunbreak / Iceborne, more power to them. We also have some other stuff, there's a couple new armor sets, a talisman, some other stuff that just sort of helps you get towards Sunbreak faster than otherwise, which I think is good that they've got a little pick-me-up there. The final thing that I want to say about it is that they were adding some new events and content being released until March 25th for the base game, and they've also promised to do some title updates after the release of Sunbreak, which I think is good on both sides. In that we've got a little bit of continued support, probably to see how things shake out once Sunbreak comes out, which is good, as well as still showing some TLC towards the base game with, as I say, event quests and content, which of course will only be high rank, but I think their intention is that you play through this in preparation for Sunbreak, but I feel like a lot of people will just wait for Sunbreak, get master rank gear, and then go back and clear all the high rank quests.
Yeah, that usually happens, especially since event quests stay in this game, unlike World where they rotate it out.
Yeah,
I fucking hated that. Oh shit! It's just,
no one liked it. It's good to have them all.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I'm super looking forward to this. As you heard, I have not pre-ordered it yet, but I will be, in the near future, and look forward to playing it. Seth, what about you?
Yeah, this is so Stranger of Paradise comes out tomorrow, so that's where my pay is going. But the next pay is pre-ordering this, ready for when it comes out.
I'm telling you, big fella, you're gonna have to go to Cash Converters, get like a 20% loan, and then you're on easy street.
Bro, just sell the gas, not even in your car, in your neighbor's car. Easy $100.
The trick is if you take 5 liters from 4 cars, they won't know the difference.
True.
I just got to make it doesn't even matter that if I mix the 98 with the 91s.
Who cares if you're reselling it? It's fine. And make sure you use your neighbor's garden hose.
Otherwise, all your plants.
I'll get my brother to suck out for the hose as well, so it's not me doing it.
True.
It's not going to suck itself.
But yeah, that's a bit of a long lingering on a news topic. But I'm a super big Monster Hunter nerd, so I really wanted to talk about that. So thank you both for indulging me.
That is perfectly fine. I'm not as big as a Monster Hunter nerd as you are, but I do enjoy these games a lot. So I was happy to sit through it and just give my impression every now and then.
And play Monster Hunter every 5 years. So when I eventually get World 2, we can have a good chat about it. When I get it in 10
we
years.
absolutely
World
will.
2 can be its own video.
But that brings us to the end of the news section for this week, which takes us nicely into the audience question for this week, where we have, what's this? Ash Ketchum himself writing in asking, "Hey Kings, big fan of the pod. Thanks, Ash. Hope the grind's going well, buddy. What would
Champion
a Pokemon
of the
TC...
Alola League, I hear."
Yeah.
He made it. My boy made it.
Mr. Ketchum. What would you call him? Champ? No, Master Ketchum. Master Ketchum?
No, I don't think he made it to Master Rank.
Ugh, needs to wait for the Sunbreak DLC. But anyway, he asks, what would a Pokemon TCG anime look like? Steve, your initial thoughts?
I think it would be like the Yu-Gi-Oh anime with the dual discs.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was...
But instead of the cards,
same
they put like a Pokeball on it and it comes out. Fuck, that'd be so sick.
I imagine it's more towards the Duelist Kingdom era than it is the Battle City era.
Oh, so they're playing on those weird platform things. That could be
Yeah,
pretty cool.
and they could be like out adventuring across the worlds, and like they have different field bonuses or whatever is in the Pokemon TCG.
But what if they had?
I was thinking it would be kind of weird if, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like it's not like the world that Yu-Gi-Oh exists in is full of duel monsters, right? So it's funny that Pokemon itself is a world where, you know, it's a world inhabited by creatures called Pokemon. But a TCG anime in that style would be that Pokemon only exist for as long as their cards are on the battlefield.
No, the way I'd imagine it is basically that, but I'd imagine it like so it's in a normal world that doesn't have Pokemon, but they have the Pokemon TCG as their main thing, but every time a Pokemon TCG battle is happening, you see the Pokemon come up like that. Yeah, exactly.
And so then, you know, like
I don't see it like that at all.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on, Steve.
No, I think it's like a parallel type of thing. Like there's Pokemon walking around and stuff, but they also exist as cards. It's a bit one of those. You throw down a Charizard, and then there's like a Charizard flying overhead, going, "Oh, hey, look, there's another Charizard."
And then DJ Khaled walks through, and then sees a Bulbasaur playing a Bulbasaur card, and goes, "Congratulations, you played yourself."
No, he's like, then another one. And got two on your
I
bench
feel like
already.
I feel like that'd be a bit overbearing, but also it could be as a way to explain this is how people Pokemon battle when they're not good enough to be trainers.
Ah, interesting. So instead of like Ash, who's also shit at Pokemon training, let's be honest. You've got like
can't even catch a Pikachu. Like, what's he doing?
You've got Ash's younger brother, Candle or something. Wax.
Not even Dash. Just Candle.
Well, like Ash is like after a fire, Candle's lit on fire. I don't know.
He's trying to make something work here.
Yeah, it's not nothing. Some flinging shit.
I mean, I got to give it to him. He's committed. He's committed.
Yeah, always committed to the bit. But yeah, remember he goes around to him and he's like, "Oh, I wish I could be a Pokemon trainer." And it's like, yeah, here's a bunch of cards. All the best. Go save the world.
And then he goes and he tries to put one.
Every gym leader also doubles and moonlights as a TCG trainer as well.
Yeah, as a black a black market card dealer. Psst, hey kid, want to buy a Gen 1 Charizard? It's only $57,000.
Use your COVID payments for it.
They get to Pewter City and Brock's like, "Oh shit, it's been like 5 years since anyone challenged me to a TCG battle. Guess I gotta dust off my box."
And he can't do anything because his eyes can't open, so he can't read the cards.
Wow.
Oh, I thought that was funny.
It's a serious condition. You know how hard it is for him to like Pokemon battle normally, Steve? What's wrong with you?
Oh, well, those are his best lines. So, dabs. You can't see me because this is an audio medium, but I just dabbed. Are the kids still doing that these days?
I love how it got
I hope
even
not.
worse. It's amazing that it got even worse. Yeah.
Do you reckon instead of going to the Shadow Realm, they'll go to like the...
I don't think they'd have anything like that.
No, they wouldn't. No, okay.
No, they just go to what's the tower?
The Battle Frontier?
No.
Battle Tower.
Okay. How to send me to the Shadow Realm? Mention the Battle Frontier. No, the what's it like? Lavender Tower?
Pokemon Tower.
Yeah, Pokemon Tower.
The place where Pokemon literally go to die.
Yeah.
No, they don't go to die there. They're dead and they get buried there.
But what if they go there and die? They don't turn into a ghost there. They go somewhere else.
Great question. If you're Ash Ketchum, write in with the answer to this question.
Yeah. If you suck at Pokemon battling hard enough that something that you've tried to care about has died, where did it go? Let us know.
Ooh. Oh no, I'm hearing the Lavender Town music in my head and I'm going insane.
Yeah. If you happen to be a Cubone looking for your mom,
A Cubone is just a Charmander with a helmet.
damn. But unfortunately, that would mean that the Charmander has to be dead because a Charmander is only alive for as long as the tail on it, the flame on its tail exists.
It's a it's a Kangaskhan baby then, I guess. Kangaskhan baby.
Maybe if a Cubone, if a Charmander just walked around with like a Zippo lighter, could it constantly keep its tail lit?
Yes. Could it trick its body into thinking that the Zippo lighter is a tail?
the thing that would instantly kill it just gets like tricked.
There's
like
just
a phantom flame.
There's just a Litwick always following the Charmander.
You reckon if it puts like the Litwick on its head, it's got like a horn? Is that how it works?
Because a Charmander is kind of based off of a Salamander, do you think if its tail came off, it would die? Or would the base of its tail, where the end of the tail got cut off, just catch fire?
No, or is it like if the base of the tail is still on fire, if it's cut off, is it still okay?
Is it still okay? It's like Davy Jones' locker rules. The heart's in a jar and it can be anywhere in the world as long as it's on fire. It's fine.
If you're a Charmander, write in.
Yeah.
We need answers.
To say that. If you're a Charmander, write in and let us know.
We need answers to this. This is what people want.
It's true.
How did this question segment become us asking the questions?
Philosophically discussing the life and death of Charmanders.
It's the question segment, not the answer segment.
It's true. The audience questions segment.
Yes, audience question.
And we're the audience to Charmander.
Facts. Anyway, to get back on topic though, gut feeling, Pokemon TCG anime. We've discussed what it would look like. Would it be better than the regular Pokemon anime? Seth?
Probably not.
Steve?
I reckon it's similar quality. Unless they make it like a weird, grittier undertone. So this recent movie came out called Batman, and that's
I was going to say, so if they made the villain an incel.
If they went full Yu-Gi-Oh tier of like going in on it and making everything so serious around the card game, then sure. But,
yeah, literally the world doesn't survive unless there's a fucking children's card game being played.
Yeah, exactly. But if they go more of like the way current card game anime are, then nah, not really.
They could have Pokemon battles on bikes.
That is a very good point. That'd be fantastic actually. Unless they try to do it indoors and Oak says they can't ride the bikes inside.
Where you get like a really slow Pokemon. That's like
What if they're just on? What if they're on Pelotons?
Oh.
Like the exercise bike, the thing
that
stays
what a
in
fucking
place.
Peloton is.
Yeah, okay, good. Like
I still feel
silent.
like
I wasn't sure.
I still feel like Oak would take issue with that. Like any
for everything, but not now. Get the fuck off the Peloton.
Well, it is called a Pokemon gym, I guess, not a.
Hey, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, we've done it.
Are you a gym leader? Write in and let us know. Do you ride bikes indoors? Does Oak chase you down?
You know, with Pokemon Go being a thing that's actually possible.
Yeah, that's true, actually, yeah. Maybe it's a weird Pokemon Go integration.
No, but with Legends Arceus, it's also a thing. You try and ride a bike inside and God himself rings you and says, hey, stop that.
No, I meant someone could send us a question as a Pokemon Go gym leader.
I see what you mean.
Should they make Pokemon Go in anime?
Pokemon Go to the anime.
I think they're doing Pokemon Go TCG cards.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
actually.
they are. Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to go. Final tangential question before we wrap this up. Favorite generation of the anime, like the standard anime?
God, I wouldn't be able to tell because I stopped watching midway through the Johto region. So I'd probably just have to default to everything Kanto.
I've seen all of up to Gen 4, I think, and a bit of Gen 5. And I saw a bit of the new one, Journeys, whatever it's called. From what I've heard, apparently the 6th gen, the Kalos arc.
Yeah, X and Y I heard is very good, and I saw the Esper episode and I liked that one a lot.
Yeah, apparently like the animation quality is really good. Ash has like a fucking bullshit meta team and he still loses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
they-
standard though.
That
Yeah,
happens. That happens when Charizard is the poster boy of the series.
True.
No Charizard, no win. What do you think, Pat? What's the best gen?
So
For the anime.
weirdly, in terms of, so I have to say that this is biased because it's what I've seen recently, and I don't remember where I saw it. I think it was actually just on TV, like on like Saturday morning cartoon type stuff. But the Alola region as the anime actually holds up really well, and the reason for that is because in previous animes, the gym leaders are all in distinct cities. So, you go to the city and then you meet the gym leader and there's like some arc of what the gym leader's up to and stuff. But because in Alola, they're all just like trial people, for most of the episodes that I was watching, which I've got no idea where in the series I was watching the episodes, but they're all just hanging out together. And it led to some really really fun episodes because it's just like, here are these big personalities, right? Like they're the people you know from the games, but they're not split across the episodes. They're actually just all working within the same episode. It was really really cool. I actually really like to watch it.
Yeah, no, the Alola region's change in pace for the game really worked in the anime's favor, from what I hear. And because it broke away from the whole gym system and becoming the champion league and everything, it freed up what they could do. Like, because by that point in the anime, it kind of became a bit too monotonous. Like, Ash goes to the gyms, he wins, and he goes to the league, he loses. But in this,
circle of life,
in this, it freed up more times to like just do character work and make fun episodes and gimmicks rather than focus on like a league journey.
Well, I think we've sufficiently talked about the Pokemon TCG anime and what it may look like, and segued into a million other different directions. If you're a Charmander,
please write in.
No,
just in general,
please
general, please fucking write in.
Yeah, we would love to have you on. More seriously though, if you or someone you know has an audience question you'd like to ask us, you can write in. We have a mailbag at fasttravellounge@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook at Fast Travel Lounge, on Twitter at Fast Travel Lounge minus one of the L's. And I think that's it for the social plugs. Yes, it is. If you have enjoyed what you have heard, feel free to like, subscribe, insert your social media platform word of choice there to show your support. Really means a lot. Really helps us out and boosts us in the all-knowing, all-powerful algorithm. But I think that takes us nicely towards the end of what has been episode 16. Anything that we want to point out for upcoming, what we might be expecting next week?
I'm actually going to be trying to stream the Stranger of Paradise game this weekend, which will be too late for a heads up when this comes out. But hey, by the time this comes out, I may or may not have streamed Stranger of Paradise, and I will talk about that a lot next week.
And if people wanted to watch you stream, where would they find you?
It will be at twitch.tv/Kai_Burr.
Steve, anything upcoming from you that we can look forward to?
I don't know. I think I'll have a bit of time on the weekend to finish Dark Souls. I'm nearly there, so fucking close. And then I'm going to jump straight into New Game Plus. But I don't really think so. I'll keep plugging away at Grand Theft Auto. I've started The Last of Us Part 1. Fucking hell, my PlayStation 4 literally it's making a lot of noise. But it's still alive. It hasn't caught fire yet.
It's hanging in there.
Yeah, I'll probably play a bit more of that. I can't play it in the daytime because I get too much glare on my screen. I can't see anything. So it'll be a nighttime only game. But then it's very scary in the nighttime. So I don't know. I'll have to work something out.
Well, we look forward to seeing whether or not you survive. I think Tiny Tina's Wonderland, Tiny Tina's Paradise, whatever the new Gearbox one. I've already forgotten its full name. The one that sounds like Tiny Tina's Wonderland. It is Wonderland, isn't it?
It is Wonderland, yeah, because the Salt and Dragon's Keep is the DLC for
That's right, yeah. I always flip those two as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's coming out next week, if I'm not mistaken.
You're a Mega Borderlands fan. Are you going to get it?
I most likely will. I do actually intend on pre-ordering it. We'll see which between that and Rise gets my attention more. But yeah, no guarantees that I'll play it before next week, but maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Do I play it? Do I not? stick around and find out.
Man, now Pat's doing the part 1s and part 2s in every podcast.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Next time on Fast Travel.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. But this has been the end of episode 16. Thank you very much for listening. I've been Patrick. I've been joined by Saif and Steve. And from all of us here at Fast Travel Lounge, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.